think it'll make more sense just to maybe we'll just start playing a little bit when people get here. It doesn't kind of matter to me that much, but I just think like if we have a good marching song. We could play that like, just really briefly, like just a couple of, just like one verse and a chorus, and then but I'll just say, like, I'm going to hold judgment on that until the person who more or less leads the band.
No, that's very wet over there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I was just picking things.
There's a dry spot.
Arid ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. When you said whatever you have, when you said
whatever
whatever
you guys
have down and you got like slush and things like snow.
I am. Thank you, Mother Nature, for giving us this day, because it could have been any number of other things that wouldn't be nearly as pleasant.
I was, we were just talking about this.
Oh
It's like,
man,
our band started
raining like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, thank you, Mother Nature.
I like. Well, it's not really.
No biomass.
Yes, I did.
Well, yeah, we're actually on like.
Because the only purpose is to make headlines, and that it makes headlines, right? And did we forget about the whole civil rights movement, or like when protests like actually changed the law? Because that's cool, you know. And this makes you like, feel like you're doing something. It's cool.
How do you do entirely done with
Like the
COVID after that?
yeah, I appreciate it.
Actually, we're supposed to start at 1.
I'm not even hugging, but you were such a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, I'm so glad you got here.
So he wanted me to hold a banner, but I don't know which one. Chris, where did he go?
The one who was just asking people.
Asking people for banners. I want to find out which one he wants me to hold on to.
Oh, what's your name?
My name's Andrea.
Jose.
Jose, nice to meet you. Thank you. Oh, that's so great. I've seen you guys play lots of places. You're so good.
But you're out here in Montpelier?
Yeah.
Like I'm in Burlington.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys, are you all here?
Oh, the band is based out here.
Whether or not a lot of people.
I said I probably won't get that.
Yeah, I guess not. But it's just a guess.
You were a little slow on that one.
I've certainly seen you down here a few times.
Yeah.
You've been here for New Year's Eve, I think.
I did the taste of Montpelier.
Right,
that was.
We do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For a small town, we have a lot of fairs, festivals, parties.
But I do like things like this, stuff like that, the historic looking buildings and things. Like it's some of these downtowns, the way it's designed, kind of looks like how, like downtown Dukes of Hazzard looks. But I like stuff.
A lot of it.
And you know, it wouldn't make any difference if you had it in the garage. My car used to always do that. You want to see the other side? Sure. Okay. Can you see it? Great. Thank you.
I'm not even kidding. Unless they're pulling that person over. But it's like, when we marched they came out
I wish they would be. If this was summertime, we could yell. to explain it? Yeah, it was like either Zeus or somebody else. Their bad guy kidnapped his daughter, and so like the world turned to ice and cold, and then she came back. Persephone. Persephone.
Yeah, when she was. Yeah.
Really?
It was the first time I ever got to hear her speak.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like why do you penetrate everybody's not extensive, it's motion.
So did you get your wait, no, okay.
Oh, there you are. It's getting worse. Zach said he has this little sign for his daughter. Somebody said, so when is your daughter coming? He said, I don't know. I said, my daughter is coming soon, but I don't see her yet. And
CBD, and it didn't have any effect at all. I was taking huge
Been on our minds for so
milligrams, dissolving.
No, arts, the arts world.
17 months.
That bird had no sense of loyalty. Probably like every man for himself.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Sarah Black, Psycho Sarah Black, yeah.
my brother's.
Yep.
I could tell. She has a best friend too, another shepherd. Oh God, you think they were killing each other?
Yeah, I know. That's how they play.
Yeah. But
Just can play very,
yeah, she wants to play.
very noisy. They play very sweetly. Yeah, I have to get noisy.
She's giving the signs. Let's go. Oh, well, it's a nice place to take dogs if they, have them around the camp.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think the dilemma is all
Later was like, do you mind carrying my balloon? I was like,
Take one for the team.
big ass.
I guess.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, the bees look good. There's another bee over there.
There's another bee floating around, yeah.
Are they her two favorite creatures?
We were encouraged to make like endangered.
Easy to find you guys with your birds.
Vermont.
Yeah, like those tour guides.
Follow me.
Right. Also, ice skating leaders on the lakes in Sweden have flags.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they have balloons on sticks.
That'd be cool. No, they have flags. That flag. And the dogs have signs. She was standing at the car in front of her. I was like, yes! A few years, my daughter's in Are you a train? Yeah. Do you want to hold the banner with me in the front? We need a third person. You need a third person? Yeah.
Want to help us?
She's really good.
Glad to do it.
Find someone if she's here.
We need somebody to hold the tail up.
I would do that. Yeah,
That would be great.
Okay, I love this.
Are you from local?
Stratford, from Stratford.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're both from Stratford? We're from Bethany Church in Randolph. And the White River Junction, or the White River Valley node of 350 Vermont,
Oh,
which includes Stratford.
It does. Okay, good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
about green life when it comes to renewable natural gas. And that's why I don't want to change
Join the marching job is gone. We don't have to pay no rent. We've been in a camping tent. Dumpster diving, don't take money. Simply fight to share with 20 and take up to have their wine. Join the marching job.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the March and Rally for Climate and Energy Justice. So great to be with you all. We're going to let folks trickle in for another minute or two, or 4, and then we're going to get started. We've got the Brass Maligan Band here that's going to lead the march. So find your signs. There's plenty more beautiful painted signs right here if anyone needs one. Find the people you want to march with, and I'll play another song here, and then we'll get going in a few minutes. So find your friends. Yeah!
Tell the stroller people over there.
Stroller Brigade's meeting over here by the empty flagpole. Oh, no, sorry. Stroller Brigade's meeting over there at the beautiful family side up banner. The person waving at me.
I'm Hannah. Nice to actually meet you. Yeah. Honestly, I was like, this is very dry. So did you say you need help with the banner? That's awesome.
Oh, Catherine, I think wanted some.
Yay. Well, hopefully, I've seen a couple strollers like straggling in, so hopefully, yeah.
I should be holding a banner.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. I told Connor this too, but we might actually need the parents kind of have their hands full if you come across anyone who seems like they'd like a role, just help them carry this.
I can find, let me,
Okay.
I'll send some people your way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is wanting to cut down almost 12,000 acres in Chittenden of what? Of trees.
Oh, another one. Video. Oh my God.
Those are the ones that give us
During the march, you guys can switch places, like rotate around. Yeah. Get like a whole kind of coordinated.
Oh no! Oh no!
at the mercy of the wind.
Yeah. You want to try to say hi to everything to start?
Oh yeah.
I see the tuba.
Say hi to
You're getting all It's a chance. It's literally magic.
My whatever familiarity I have with North Dakota
Don't crowd and get in front of you so that we can really see you.
and up on the reservation area.
Like Skakawea?
Yeah. So and
Okay.
You need to be like.
And you need to watch the traffic.
Yes, I know that.
I know your people. Hi! I didn't even recognize you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like we haven't done it.
Right.
What happened? What's that for?
Okay, I guess.
Are we ready? Okay, tell us when we're ready and we'll block the traffic.
So now?
Stop the F-35 fuel. Oh my God, rock. Nice.
No, they changed it to put it in the back, but that's the same.
Wouldn't be second. Yeah. Wouldn't be about. But if you want to
I can't run any other way, so that works really well. They're all talking on the way down about everything that they know about.
It's okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, close up.
Keep an eye out for the cop. He was here and then he left.
Drummer always gets to go out, hold the traffic so everyone can come in. Sound good? Yeah. I'll just see when it's time. We'll be the rear. We'll put the banner out, hold traffic. Okay. There is
Hey! Haven't seen you in too long. I know. Good things. How it goes?
Hey, you guys, scoot around and get on the back of the banner so you can read it. Make a better window than I do.
When we're ready to go, recess for it. I'll give them a thumbs up and helmet.
Ready. Although actually, you go. That's been her way too. So we're going back to Missoula. I have Sebastian spring. Cam's got to go back and drive back to Missoula. She'll fly back here. Yeah. Where we're supposed to be. Which was all easy and simple and very nice until
Only I could have got four words on my sign. stay in just for
You need another Marshall?
Are we ready? Are we ready?
don't stop. Say what? Like the power of the people. Power of the people. Don't stop. Say what?
No, down there now. He and Bart are doing that right now, talking about that.
Make sure our legislators see this one.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! Now! Climate justice!
No! Climate justice! No! Climate justice! No! Climate justice! No! Climate justice! No! They're gonna play solitaire forever. Yeah.
away from the speakers because of the.
So maybe like
They're gonna stay there for a while.
okay, if it's possible to send them around, just because one time
Okay, so we'll make an announcement. Hey. Hey, Peter.
Better now to see all these people. Congratulations, you're amazing. This is not.
Yeah, so I didn't do that. Someone put that there. I just put this thing to keep it. It gets bumped every once in a while. In general, I'm just going to stick around and be quick to try and adjust this for folks so that they don't do the whole like thing. So let me just see. Are you going to be the first to speak? Let's see. Is this a good height for you? That's perfect for you right there. Okay, great. You're good.
Cool.
You might want to just mention that this is. We know. Yeah, I was about to say like you might want to mention people shouldn't use this as like a throughway for folks wanting to come around.
Let's give it up for Brass Baligan! All right, come on up. We can fill in this whole space. There's hot cider. There's lots of propaganda that you can take if you would like. But come on up, fill up this whole space. Welcome again. Welcome everybody. We're gonna need tape if that's gonna stop. Wow, you all are beautiful. What a crowd. And look look at these beautiful banners. Thank you, everyone. Welcome again to the March and Rally for Climate and Energy Justice. I'm so excited to be here with you all on a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm Sonia Silbert. I'm with 350 Vermont. And there's a really broad range of organizations that co-sponsored this rally today, and we're so delighted to have all of you here. I'm going to do a roll call, and it's going to be fast. But I want to say that we have a really strong climate justice movement in this state, and it is so important. And while we may not agree on every decision, we may not agree on every policy position, we are all passionately committed to working towards a healthier and more just future for our state, for our world, for our future generations, and we are all needed in this movement with our different approaches. So thank you to all of our co-sponsors and everyone else who supported this rally. I'm gonna do it's kind of a long list. We had over 30 co-sponsors today. So I'm gonna read like 10 or so, and then I'm gonna put my hands in the air and you can applaud for those 10, okay? And then I'm gonna do another 10 and we'll do another round. Is that cool? Okay, ready? Fast, here we go. Acorn, Bale, Burlington Friends Meeting, Conservation Law Foundation, Flight Free Vermont, Keep Vermont Cool, NOFA Vermont, Peace and Justice Center, REV, Rights and Democracy. Rural Vermont, Safe Landing BTV, Sola Vida, Standing Trees, Sunrise Trinidad, True Center Yoga, Vermont Climate and Health Alliance, Vermont Conservation Voters, Vermont Natural Resources Council, Vermont Interfaith, Power and Light. Vermont Progressive Party, Vermont Renews BIPOC Council, Vermonters for People-Oriented Places, Upper Valley Affinity Group, who are our awesome marshals today. Extinction Rebellion Vermont, Migrant Justice, No Coal, No Gas, the Vermont Relief Collective, Third Act Vermont, Slingshot, and Suncommon. And folks who supported this rally as a Hunger Mountain Co-op and the Climate Emergency Fund. Thank you so much for all being here. All right, we've got a few speakers, we've got a few performers, and we're going to start with our friend Earl Hatley, who is a lifelong environmental organizer. He's part of 350 Vermont's campaign team. He's worked with Indigenous grassroots groups around the country, as well as state and national nonprofit groups, including Western Mining Action Network and the Indigenous Environmental Network. He's an enrolled citizen of the Mississauga Band of Abenaki Nation with Cherokee Shawnee heritage and is a disabled veteran. We are so honored to have Earl here to start us off.
Not quite that tall. Well, I could be. Yeah. Quiet, everyone. Oh, it's so beautiful to see you. And it's such an honor to be here and to be able to speak with you, even though the sun is preventing me from seeing you. Whoa, that is a strong mic. It's an honor to be here today, to be able to speak these words as we stand here in the valley of the Winooski River. And we honor the Abenaki peoples, the Abenaki Nation on their ancient lands, unceded territory of the Abenaki Nation. And with our open hearts, we pay tribute to their peoples, their ancestors, their current generations, their elders, their families, their leaders, and future generations. And so with our hearts open, we pledge to be protectors of this land together with them. With our hearts open, with our generations and our future generations, together we protect this land. Together, Waliwani, hope.
Thank you, Earl. All right, next we have Grace Palmer, St. Michael's College student, singer-songwriter, who's going to both speak and sing the most beautiful song.
You ready?
Thank you. Everybody, thanks for coming out today. It's great to see so many people, especially so many young people. Ooh, gotta watch that. All right. Okay. So I'm Grace Palmer, and just here to share a bit of my story today. So I grew up in a small farm town. It's the kind where being late to school was and is still excused if you get caught behind a tractor. It's where sunsets from the main road are parallel only to those found in destination vacations, where we can count the traffic lights on one hand and the gas stations on the other, and where the openly grazing cows are the main attraction. My family and I had a band growing up, the Palmer Family Singers. And something I found out it was cool and not embarrassing as I grew older. My dream was to leave my small farm town behind and go make it big in Nashville, Music City. So after high school graduation, I set out to do just that. As excited as I was making my dreams come true, I was shocked to find out how much the metal and concrete life of the city affected me. I came to learn that Nashville was one of the largest producers of glass and tin bottles, and that they didn't have a recycling program. That was when I still thought that fighting climate change meant separating paper and plastic. A bit has changed since then. When I had to go back to Connecticut from the world-terrifying shakeup of the pandemic, all I wanted was something familiar. But in pursuing my dreams, I had forgotten how my town had slowly started to change over the years. When I came home, it seemed like all those changes that had been slowly happening had happened all at once. The 4 or 5 dairy farms had merged when I was in high school, creating the largest dairy farm in Connecticut, and in doing so, moving all the cows under one tin roof that stretches half a mile long and reeks on the hottest days of the summer. I realized that the sunset views were blocked by additional gas stations, fast food restaurants, and big businesses that had been progressively moving in on my town. The ridge that had always painted the back of our town green was now slowly turning gray and yellow. The small town that I had cherished was becoming unrecognizable, right under my nose. In tandem with discovering the changes of my town, I realized in Nashville that as much as I loved music, I, just like my town, would have to be commodified. I realized my love of music could not persuade me to chase profit and power, something I learned I'd have to do to be competitive in the industry. Thank you. When I started college at St. Mike's, I majored in environmental studies, and in my second year there, I was fortunate enough to interview different generations about their take on climate change. I found middle-aged people to be most concerned about the economics, echoing an all too familiar sentiment I'm sure we've all heard. The older generations felt a sense of guilt that they hadn't done more to stop the destruction of our shared home. And the younger generations were split into 2 categories. Unfortunately, some of us, the younger folk, already feel that the gig is up, the odds are stacked against us, so hey, why not kick back, enjoy the ride for the short time that we can? In facing such a massive issue, they feel a sense of despair, and it's hard not to blame them. I mean, it's hard to blame them. Sorry. In classes, I've even heard environmental students joke about how now, knowing what they know, they've lost hope completely. The other students I've spoken to feel a sense of immense duty, believing themselves to be the last line of defense in an uphill battle, and that the war is not over yet, it is just beginning. It can be so inspiring to see so many young people here today, especially at the front. Young people who want to act, who are energized, even if it's from fear, to tackle the problems that lie ahead. I am proud to be one of the latter, and I'm proud to see so many people here today whom I hope share the same sentiment. We are here today to ask the Vermont legislature and Governor Scott to join us in fighting the oncoming climate crisis. We are here to remind them that the people here today and the people of Vermont have put their faith in them and are watching closely. We ask the Vermont legislature and Governor Scott to be empowered with us to do the right thing in moving towards a more sustainable, equitable future for all, each and every citizen of our state. I ask you all to remember that there is still hope if we stand together in this fight. I ask you to stay hopeful, to continue in the fight even when it can feel like the odds are stacked against us, and to keep pushing forward, because as we are all aware, we do not have another viable option. I ask you all to join the younger generation and stand with us as the last line of defense. Thank you. So I play music sometimes. And one of the older couples that I interviewed, they talked about how they want solar panels, but they need a roof replacement before they can get them. And they don't think that they have enough time to get the roof replacement and make it worth it, and how guilty they felt over that. This song is based off their interview. Linda, we got 7 more years left for you to write and me to work the flower beds. But these red roses ain't coming in the same. At times like these I ask, who's to blame? Is it policy that flooded the lake down the hill? Is it us for knowing and doing nothing still? I don't think it's the Arctic just getting angry when the scientists have tried to tell us plainly. Ooh, my dear, are we taking it with us? Ooh, are our memories of Earth the last of their kind? Ooh, do you think we'll get to see the day the people see the light? Solar panels, nah, we ain't got time. Linda, you say you still got some hope. I sure hope I get to see my roses grow. I've learned a lot, I've been humbled before, but there's a thing or two I know. Every year, chance goes down, so and so. Ooh, my dear, are we taking it with us? Ooh, are our memories of Earth the last of their get to see the day that the people see the light. Solar panels now, we ain't got time. And Linda, the worst part of this is, in my humble opinion, wasn't even till the 90s I tried to listen. And who knows who was paying who, just so we'd miss it. My dear, are we taking it with us? Ooh, are our memories of Earth the last of their kind? Ooh, do you think we'll get to see the day that the people see the light? Solar panels now, we ain't got time. Solar panels now, we ain't got time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, Kawhi once again. I'm not going to introduce myself again. I want to talk about one of our commons. We have commons: air, water, land, soil, forest. Today we're concerned about air. That is our common. This is our common. And it's been polluted to a point, to a point where it's changing our atmosphere and could have the potential of destroying all life. This is our common. The oil and gas corporations for 50 years have known about this problem and have funded, through the legislatures and our Congress, a campaign of denial. And when that didn't work, now we see stalling tactics. These stalling tactics to block the legislation necessary to properly deal with our problems. And now we have 8 to 10 years to try to solve it. And yet we hear from scientists like Dr. James Hansen, for example, that says we don't have that long. And so here we are. Biofuels represent one of these delaying tactics by the fossil fuels industry and the politicians that they fund and lobby. Biofuels are the new fossil fuels promoted by the fossil fuel industry to work within their infrastructure and are just as bad for the climate, indigenous peoples, and rainforests as fossil fuels. We cannot occupy our rainforests and agricultural lands for the growing of our energy and expect this will help the climate any more than we can expect to mine our way out of climate change. Mining for minerals are critical for solar, wind, and battery storage. 10% of our greenhouse gases comes from mining. When you add the processing of the ore and the manufacturing, that increases to 26%. As co-chair of the Western Mining Action Network and chair of our Indigenous Caucus, I recently was honored to visit Thacker Pass in Nevada, the potential or the proposed site for the world's largest lithium mine on lands of the Shoshone-Paiute peoples, and I was there hosted by the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. And I got to see their sacred sites in this area that would be completely annihilated by this mine. for the lithium for the batteries, for this new power. Depending on the mineral, cobalt, nickel, lithium, 70 to 97% of these minerals are found on indigenous lands in the U.S. and around the world. What we need are smart towns that enable us to reduce our demand, conserve, plan well, and generate the rest of the energy we need in our state. With a focus on conservation, and conservation means weatherization and energy use reduction. Mass transit. Mass transit means rural and urban, free mass transit. A circular economy, and that means recycling and reuse of the metals that have already been mined, like they're doing in Europe and getting ready to build out that new industry with good paying jobs. Smart towns where walking and bicycling is practical and possible. These proposals will reduce the need for these mines. This would be a more just transition. So we need, in this building, courageous politicians. Courageous politicians who will stop playing these delaying tactic games. We need courageous politicians to stand up for the demand of the people for clean energy. We need courageous politicians to stop the carbon trading and build low carbon power for Vermont. We need courageous politicians to ensure a just transition of low carbon electricity solutions for all Vermonters. Believe in me. Thank you.
Staying warm out there? My name is Bianca Mirazanella, and I am the paper poet. This poem is in appreciation of all of you here today, and thank you so much, Earl and Grace, for those moving performances and words as well. The title of this piece is "The Time for This Is Now." And this is an interactive poem. This is a poem, for a poem can be anything. These words are arranged on a page or this very moment. Your heart beating out of your body, or how the snow this morning fell from a blue sky like a miracle. But this is not just a poem, it's also an invitation. An invitation to stop listening and to start listening. To see, to really see, and to feel, really feel. To feel so deeply that we might as well be at the bottom of the ocean like one of those eye-hook sea creatures. We're gonna be those today. So I invite you to really turn to your neighbor, your stranger, either to your left, to your right, behind you. Spin around right now and find someone new. No handshakes, no greetings necessarily, but looking them in their eye. And we're gonna have a bit of stillness. Take a silent moment, square your hips to them, and look in their souls. No need for words. We are in this together. I encourage you to look in the mirror, in this other who is also you and who isn't, and who is another version of you. She is everything you dream of becoming and everything you fear doing, with wrinkles or without. He is the father who walked out and the dad who stayed through the dugout ding dong ditch days too. They are your comfort. They are your conflict. They are here, and soon they won't be. Soon your hips will square off to another sunset or sunrise, and it will be your choice to slow down, to stare at this star, at ourselves, at yourself for a little bit too long, a little bit not long enough. And this too will be an invitation of praise and pause, a reminder that we are all connected. Keep staring. We are a forest of fingerprints. To take myself home is to make myself home again. To take myself home is to make myself home again. Honor this home like a god impossible to hold, for she is everywhere. A loud hum, a holy Luna. This slack tide of my spirit begs for nothing more than to stop standing on smoke, close but untouchable. This is your invitation to touch heart to heart. There is no wrong choice when we let boredom be its own compost. If you want to hug now, you can. I need someone to hug. The delight to feel the heartbeat of a stranger is to practice dying, which is to say it is a practice of the living. This is the energy we must harness. This is the energy of care, compassion, collective, just as we've learned from the wind and the trees that we can dig for. We can frack this kind of energy without guilty conscience. Our supply chain is indeed infinite, for love, like the pea, will continue to climb as long as there is more trellis. We grow into our own. We are the pearl that's been turning into itself for eternity. The more comfortable you become in your own skin, the less you need to manufacture for the comforts of this world. And isn't that what we've all been doing? We search for more and more, burning more and more carbon, trying to attain more and more, because we are disconnected. And that comfort that you feel in the scent of a stranger, probably a lot of patchouli in here, that's an ease of an embrace that transforms us. Like the wise old mother tree, those cathedral-like groves of oak and beech, they feed their young just as we do. They send out signals to hurt as danger rounds the bend. All this to happen underground, in silence and in slowness, in tree time. So like I said, the time for this is now, but it's also tree time. One freeze at a time, one heartbeat, one. We are one. Let this be our guide, our teacher. The lessons may be endless, but this will not end us. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jael Polskamp. I'm an organic farmer and a former employee with 350 Vermont. I wish I could stand up here today and say that I was glad to be here. I am glad to see your beautiful faces, but to be quite honest, after years and years of coming to these steps, raising my voice, waving banners, and demanding action, I feel fed up and disheartened. How many more legislative sessions must we endure calling for action that meets the impending crisis head on? Legislators influenced by corporate interest and industry lobbyists have repeatedly proposed insufficient half measures that neither confront the challenge nor provide meaningful remediation for Vermont's greenhouse gas emissions. Instead, they present improvident proposals awash in contradictions and shortcomings. 25 years ago, while studying in Central America, I witnessed the destructive impact that industrial agriculture had on the rich biodiverse rainforests and on the way of life of indigenous communities and subsistence farmers. They were implementing agroecological and regenerative practices long before the use of these buzzwords. This experience set me on a path to become an organic farmer and to work to change our food system. It is for this reason that I am disappointed by the proposal in the Affordable Heating Act to use biofuels as a transition fuel. This policy is not unique to Vermont. Countries around the world are introducing biofuel mandates to cut fossil fuel use. The crops used in biofuel production are being touted as renewable and presented as a way for countries to meet their net zero goals. 24% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture. Every year, nearly 25 billion tons of soil are lost due to industrial farming, and 18 million acres of forest are cut down. That's roughly the size of Vermont and New Hampshire combined. This ecological destruction comes mostly from the growing of commodity crops such as soy, palm oil, and corn. These same crops are now grown for biofuels to heat our homes and power our cars. There is not enough fertile land to grow fuel, oil crops, and food for 9 billion people. 3.1 million children die each year from starvation. The use of food crops for fuel will only exacerbate world food shortages and hasten ecological destruction. We need to take responsibility for our own energy emissions and our own energy consumption and production. Yes. That's why it's so important that we pass legislation that focuses on creating solutions here at home instead of relying on others to take up that responsibility. Let's begin by strengthening the renewable energy standards. Instead of investing in biofuels, let's invest in solutions that reduce fuel consumption like weatherization, public transportation, and heat pumps. Let's increase our own in-state energy production through community solar and geothermal. Let's invest in Vermont's local economy and not in big ag or corporate profits. If I've learned anything as a farmer these past years, it is that where there is a will, there is a way. Our elected body just needs the will to do what needs to be done. The way is already clearly in front of us. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, everybody. My name's Peter Sterling, and I work for Renewable Energy Vermont. Before I worked for Renewable Energy Vermont, I used to work in that building there, and I can tell you, none of the change that any of the speakers have talked about, any of the change you want happens unless you show up at events like this, your friends show up, and your friends' friends. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you, sign holders, for coming. And most of all, thank you to 350 Vermont and their allies who made this day happen. This does not happen. It's a lot of hard work. Come on, you can cheer louder than that. Thank you. All right. We're told over and over by many of our utilities and our state regulators, don't worry, that our Vermont's electricity is among the very cleanest in the nation. But they know full well Vermont's dirty little secret. Our energy is not really that clean or that green. They greenwash the fact that on a cold day like December 24th, 2022, Christmas Eve day, 34% of our energy came from burning oil. They greenwash that over the course of a year, almost 20% of our electricity comes from natural gas. They greenwash that another 20% comes from nuclear power. Just a very, very small fraction of the energy we call renewable is generated from wind and solar in New England, and that's not okay. As we ask Vermonters to fight global warming and electrify their lives by getting us into EVs and other fossil fuel-free technology, we need to make sure this power comes from 100% renewables and not fossil fuels. As we electrify our state, we need to meet our new energy needs not by flooding wildlands or indigenous lands in other countries, not by asking low-income and BIPOC people who live in Massachusetts and Connecticut to live next to a natural gas plant, not by asking other people in England to live next to a nuclear power plant. We need to own the responsibility and the burden of our energy needs right here in Vermont. So I'm asking you to help support efforts to get us to invest in renewables responsibly sited here in Vermont and elsewhere in New England, because we really do need to own our energy footprint. Because unlike other New England states, we do not have a single natural gas plant that runs 24/7 in Vermont. We don't have a nuclear power plant anymore. And every single time a Vermonter invests in solar power, that means somewhere else in New England, natural gas at some point is not being burned to make electricity. That is really important. We also need to make sure this renewable energy footprint is affordable for all, and that no one Vermont community is asked to bear its unfair share of our Vermont energy burden. As you might expect, Vermont utilities are already pushing back on this vision of a 100% renewable energy future. But I'm heartened and encouraged that 350 Vermont has helped organize events like this, and every member of the Vermont Climate Coalition is supporting this effort. But again, we need your help and your friends' help and your friends' friends' help to get us there. So please stay involved, make your voice heard, so we can own our energy future and not ask other people to live near polluting natural gas plants and nuclear power plants so we can have electricity. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie DiPetito, and I'm here today on behalf of families and speaking on behalf of 350 Vermont Families Rise Up. Before I get started, I'd like to invite all the families here today to come stand behind me on the stairs. Don't be shy, come on up. Also, how do I move this thing down? Okay. Okay, gotcha, thanks. Not very tall.
You've got one child.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can get at least my own child.
Come on up.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and get started. It wasn't long ago that I would wake up to gray, hazy skies with smoke so thick that the sun couldn't shine through. In the summer, it would often be 80 degrees before 9 a.m., with no reprieve from the dusty, dry heat. Walking outside smelled like a campfire. It would cause my eyes to tear and throat to itch, like having early spring allergies. Sometimes ash would rain down on my car like a post-apocalyptic snow. The beautiful mountains that I loved to see out my kitchen window were no longer visible. The pollution in Denver already felt unbearable, and with the persistent smoke, perpetual drought, and intolerably hot summers, I was beginning to feel trapped. My husband and I wanted to start a family, but these weren't the conditions in which we wanted to raise a child. We considered leaving the city, but didn't want to risk losing everything to a forest fire. So we decided to leave our entire life behind us and take refuge in Vermont. The week we were packing, I found out I was pregnant. We're incredibly grateful that we had the privilege to pick up and move, and know that everyone doesn't have that choice. I'm now a proud mama of this wiggly, wide-eyed, 7-month-old baby boy. Hi, Charlie. I want to give him a world full of wonders, the world he deserves, and there's nothing I wouldn't do to protect him. I know how easy it is to get bogged down by the relentless newsreels that bring headlines of destruction and hopelessness across the globe. I've been a victim to the doom scrolling that leaves me feeling like everything is over and there's no hope. But by joining the efforts of Families Rise Up, I actually feel like I can make a difference, because what we do is bigger than what I can do alone. Combating climate change takes collective action, coming together in community. We've seen successes in environmental movements throughout our history. In the 1970s, mothers protesting while pushing strollers, just like we did today, finally got the government to act in Love Canal, New York. And it was thanks to organizers like us that Vermont recently passed the pioneering bill requiring the labeling of genetically modified ingredients. I know that there are a million things grabbing our attention each and every day. To prepare for this rally, I organized my thoughts during some of the only free moments I have, which are when I'm pumping milk so that Charlie has food while I work full time. But we all showed up today, and we're here because we want a better future for our loved ones. What we do now matters. We don't need to wait for complete devastation to implement the solutions that already exist. Vermont forests don't need to be smoldering or its skies dark with smoke. Vermont has been able to work under the guise of environmentalism while generating dirty energy out of state. We have a responsibility to make sure Vermont acts boldly on climate for those that don't have the option of moving away from climate catastrophe. We're here to use the power of our voices to make sure the legislators that were elected to represent us use their power to make humane and equitable changes to large-scale energy systems now. Let's make our collective voices heard. Let's set an example for our kiddos and fight this battle together by taking small actions collectively. Let's work together to call our legislators to testify, to vote for who represents us. We need to do this together to make sure the decisions policymakers are pushing out today are what we want our children to inherit. Let's make sure we're doing everything we can. We have to. Our children's lives depend on it. Thank you. Cheers.
You guys can stay there if you want to.
Up to you.
That would be lovely.
You look very cute.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay. Hey, everybody. You've been standing for a long time. I'm going to be short. My name is Andrea Stander. I'm a former board member of 350 Vermont. I live here in Montpelier. And I had a bunch of stuff I was going to say, but a lot of people have said it already. And we gave testimony this week in front of the Senate Natural Resources Committee on the Affordable Heating Act. If you haven't heard it, go hear it. It's recorded. But before I say my little piece, I want to bring you a message from Lieutenant Governor David Zuckerman, who would have been here today, but he is a farmer on the weekends, as much as he can. So here's what he wanted you to hear. My apologies for not being with you today. I'm there in spirit. I am confident that your reaction is similar to mine when folks talk about how it feels good on a nice 40-degree January day. We all internally cringe. We all feel a deep uneasiness and discomfort on such warm days and warm spells. We experience these too frequent warm winter days, like today, in terror as the result of our past inaction, and more so as an ominous harbinger of our future if we do not take bold and thoughtful action. Action to move away from fossil fuels toward renewables and efficiency and increase our carbon sequestration practices. As a grassroots organizer, I want to thank you for being out here today and every day in your communities. And to quote Dr. Seuss, who was a true visionary, we need to speak out for the trees, as the trees have no tongues. And we must keep beating the drums for the bees. And we must keep swarming the policymakers and the governor with positive messages about the need for real action. Thank you. In solidarity, Lieutenant Governor David Zuckerman. So I had a whole bunch of stuff on this piece of paper, but it's all been said. So I'm not going to say it again. What I am going to say is that we have a choice. They have a choice. And that choice is really going to determine what happens next. But that choice depends on us. It depends on us showing up and demanding that they make the right choice in our name. Groundbreaking legislation that brought major changes for our state and provided leadership to the whole country, such as marriage equality in 2009, death with dignity in 2013, the GMO right to know food labeling law in 2014, and Vermont's first meaningful gun control legislation in 2018. Those were passed thanks to the power of people like you, Vermonters who cared deeply about these issues, joining together in the power of the grassroots. So please, don't make today the end of your climate advocacy for this year or any year. When you go home, sign up to get involved with 350 or any of the other organizations that are working on this and sponsored this rally. Bring your skills, your passion, your lived experience, and your contribution of what we know is limited time and energy. So together, we can create the future that will truly make us a brave little state. And I'll say one more thing. I'm 70 years old. Like Jael, I've been up here way too many times on many different issues. And from where I stand, I can see the end of my life. And I have a niece, a grandniece, who is going to be 1 year old in a few weeks. And all these kids behind me, well, where'd they go? They're gone. Okay, they already grew up, they're out and doing their own thing. But for all these kids behind me, my fervent wish is that before I leave this planet and hopefully go into the ground and become soil, I want to see the arc of this story turn toward justice and equity and a survivable future. Thank you for being here.
Wow, thank you, Andrea, and thank you all of our speakers and performers. I hope before you all leave, you stop by 350 Vermont's info table, sign up on our list, sign one of our postcards to the legislators, calling for impactful, efficient, and effective and justice-focused climate policy. How many people here have already signed a postcard? Yeah! How many people here got somebody else to sign a postcard? Yeah, they're the organizers. Those postcards are going to be delivered to our legislators next week. This is your last chance to sign them, your last chance to get other people to sign them. So we've got a lot of them over at the table. If you've got signed ones, drop them off there. They're waving. Oh, shit. Oops. Are you all ready for a song? Okay, do you need to shake it off a little bit? Do a little shake. Do you want to do some activist yoga for 30 seconds? Okay, everyone, here we go. Hands up to our goals. Up to our goals. Down to the grassroots. Down to the grassroots. Back to our goals. Back to our goals. Down to the grassroots. Down to the grassroots. Feel the winds of change. Feel the winds of change. Stomp out oppression. Stomp out oppression. And I should give it a little jiggle. All right, we are delighted to welcome up Lily and Dana, who are going to lead you in a very beautiful song that they wrote themselves for this rally, like literally finished yesterday. And many of you should have song sheets, the little ones, not the big ones. If you don't have one, find a friend who can share. So come on up, Lily and Dana.
Okay, so we will do this call and response once through and then just sing it all together a few times. Together we've got the courage, together we've got the power. Together we've got the courage, together we've got the power. To chart a new way forward, to seize this final hour. To chart a new way forward, to seize this final hour. We need each other to make a different way. We need each other to make a different way. For those before and kin to come, let's raise our voice today. For those before and kin to come, let's raise our voice today. Together we've got the courage, together we've got the power to chart a new way forward, to seize this final hour. We need each other to make a different way. For those before and kin to come, let's raise our voice today. Together we've got the courage, together we've got the power to chart a new way forward, to seize this final hour. We need each other to make a different way. For those before and kin to come, let's raise our voice today. Together we've got the courage, together we've got the power to chart a new way forward, to seize this final hour. We need each other to make a different way. For those before and kin to come, let's raise our voice today.
I have a group challenge. We want to take a photo with every single one of you and your signs and those signs and this building to bring to the legislators next week when we deliver the postcards. Can we do it? I'm really not sure, actually. Here's our suggestion. We're gonna have as many people come up here as possible, can fill in right here in the steps in front of us, but we're asking people to not come up to where the speakers are, the sound system is, because there's too many wires and sketchy things. So have everyone fill up here, and we'll have photographers go down there, kind of near the 350 Vermont table. If anyone is up for walking through slushy wet snow, you can feel free to go on either side, but please don't walk kind of near where all the sound system stuff is. If you don't want to walk on wet, slushy snow, come right up here next to Scott. Wave, Scott. Yeah, come right up here, right in front of Scott. And we have a few official photographers, but anyone else who likes taking photographs, feel free to go down there as well. And let's try and clump up. We've got to get close is the problem. This is our group challenge. It's a group challenge to actually build true solutions for climate change. It's a group challenge to take a photograph with 200 people.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
It's good to see you. It's good to see you too. Thank you for everything.
Hi, Scott.
All right, photographers, how are we looking? We can keep filling in. We can keep filling in on the flat area in front of the steps for anyone who doesn't want to walk in the snow. Emily, how are we looking? Do we need to squish? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Oh, we need to squish. Can we squish, please? We need this. We need snuggles in the struggles. Come on.
It's too loud, Peanut. Yeah, just be careful of all the wires.
All right, I got a thumbs up from Emily. Does anyone else want to join our photograph? Okay. So, on 3, we're going to do climate justice now. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Climate justice now! All you all look beautiful. Okay. While you're here, do you want to hear thank yous? Should I do anything else? This looks so great.
Great.
All right, y'all look beautiful. I want to thank you all for coming. Let's hear it for you all. Thank you again to all of our co-sponsors, all of the supporters and speakers and helpers, including Chris Gruen for running our sound.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you especially to our volunteer mobilization team, Lindsay, Chris, Kathy, Earl, and Natalie. We have a warm-up, though it's a really warm day, a warm-up and chill-out space up the street at Bethany Church, 115 Main Street. We will have snacks and pizza. If anyone wants to hang out and chat some more, come there and or come check out the 350 Vermont table.